Okay, so this is the second video. So in the previous one, what we did is we were in resources. I was in the ALE folder, and we created this task analysis rubric, right? So either the students could score a yes or a no when we're rating them on a certain task. Okay, so on this video, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to actually use this assessment rubric. So I'm going to go into courses. I'm going to open up my sandbox. First thing we want to do is we want to create the, actually, no. Before we even create the assignment, what I want to do is I want to bring in the rubric. And there's two ways we can do this. One is through the course. Okay, so if we're sitting in the course and I want to use that rubric, I just go into my Gradebook setup. Okay, so from here, I can go into rubrics, and then from rubrics, I would import it in this area. So I can go to add a rubric, and then here I can create a brand new one, like fresh, just like how we did in the first video. But what I want to do is I just want to bring it in. So to bring it in, I go back into resources. I go to wherever I have it. If you left it in your home, then it's in your home. For me, I created another collection under training and ALE. So here it is. So from here, I could go over here to the gear icon, and then I can add it to a course. So I'm going to tap on that, and I'm going to add it into my sandbox, this one right here. So I'm going to check it off. I'm going to hit add. Okay, and if I wanted to add it to more than one course at a time, yeah, we'll definitely put all of your courses that you want to use this rubric with. I mean, just keep checking them all off, okay? And then the rubric will populate inside all of your courses. So now I'm going to go back to courses, my sandbox. I'm going to go into my gradebook setup just to see if it's there. I'm going to go into rubrics, and here it is. This is the one we just created, okay? So now if I wanted to tweak it, maybe it's different for different courses. You know, you can just click on it, take a look at it, and then here's where you can tweak it. Okay. Now, whatever you do change in the course, it doesn't change it for the other ones because the other ones, it's not linked to the other courses. Okay. So if you did a change, it probably would be better to do it, do your change and then copy it to the courses from here, or save it to your resources and then copy it. I mean, however you want to do it, whatever is easier for you, but just know that whatever you change here is not going to change for all of them. You just have to somehow transfer that change to the other courses. Okay, so the rubric is in here. So now let's get into the materials, actually creating an assignment. So I'm going to go back into materials. I'm going to go into the ALE folder, and let's say we're ready to take data on an assignment today. So I'm going to go to add materials. I'm going to create an assignment. Okay, so I'm going to call this, let me get the name of this task analysis checklist. So it was called Plays Games with Peer and Adult. Okay, so that's what I'm going to call it. So Plays Game with Peer and Adult. And this is maybe the first time I'm collecting data. You can give it a date if you wanted to. The category, I created a data collection category, but of course, if you wanted to use something that that is pushed to you, you can. So I'm just going to use this one, the data collection category. Now, okay, talking about categories, the district did push some to teachers so that way it syncs from TAC with Schoology. But since this is more of a data collection, I don't think that anybody would want to sync this type of an activity with TAC. So if you do use, for example, like mine, a data collection one, it's not going to sync. So it's safe that knowing that it's not, this data is not going to go back into TAC. Okay, so we have that. You set the grading period, and then again, you can uncheck this because I really don't think you would want to sync a data collection sheet, right, an evaluation back to the SIS, because if you did, then it would show up like as an assignment. Okay, so I would uncheck that, and then now the scale and the rubric. So here's where you can drop this down, and then this is the one that we had created earlier. So I'm going to click that one. If you want to show it to students, if you don't want to show it to students, you can uncheck or check there. The learning objectives, these are the tasks that we had created with our rubric. Okay, so it automatically populates right here. And if you want to individually assign, of course, you can do that right there. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to hit create. Okay, so now we have our assignment. And then I'm going to go into the gradebook really fast too, just to kind of show you. So here it is right here. And now it tells us it's worth 9 points. Okay, so now there are two ways that you can grade it. So let's say the time to do the assessment is here. So what you can do at this point is you can click into the assignment, and then here's our rating scale, right? So we have, let me just pull up the other one just so that way you can see the comparison. So here's the rows. And again, you could add more detail if you wanted to do that. We have the yes, we have the no, yes, no. Now the NA with adaptations, or with adaptations, and then with comments, those are the ones that we didn't include as columns, but I'll show you what we can do to get around that. Okay, so I'm going to maximize this again. So let's say we're ready to collect data. So from here, you can just click on Edit Grades, and then you would see a list. So all your students would populate in a list. So for me, since I only have one student, here's Michelle. Here is our little icon of the rubric, so you can click on it, and then from here you could rate the student. Okay, and so then I'm gonna scroll back up over here. So let's say yes, no. So let's say this yes, it was a yes, but the student needed prompting. So here's the little comments box. So in here, or maybe with adaptation and prompting, so you can add the comment there, and the little dialog bubble stays open. Okay, so that way it indicates to you that you have a comment in there. This one, let's say he attempted but needed help making a choice. Okay, so that's that. You can do things like that. And then let's say we're done. He got 5 out of 9. So you can actually see how you can overwrite it if you wanted to. But for now, I'm just going to hit save. Okay, so now we see the 5. If you wanted overall comments, not just comments specific to each little rated, each little criteria, but comments overall, you can say attempt, like I'm say attempt number 1. And then you could show this to the student if you wanted to, or if you didn't, you just uncheck it. So I'm going to hit save. And then so now we have 1 for that one student. So that's one way to grade it. Right? If I wanted to edit, I just come back up in here. You can see that, and then you could just like go down the list if you had more than one student that you needed to rate. Okay, so the other thing in here, if you wanted to view stats, you can see averages, all that stuff. If you wanted to go into it, this is just more grade information, data collection. This would be like first grading period, second, or actually first period, second period, all that stuff. These are the alignments, the tasks. Okay, and actually these are more like the domains. That's kind of what I was using for this example. And then here, if you wanted to copy this to another course, this is another place where you can copy this assignment. Since we created it in here, you can just click copy and then copy it to the rest of your courses. So that way they all have this plays game with peer and adult first data collection. And you don't have to sit there and recreate everything all over again. Let's see. And so that's one way to grade. The other way to grade, I'm gonna delete this attempt. Let's see. Actually, I don't think I'm going to show you where we can delete it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and it's going to be the second way to grade it. So I'm going to go back into the gradebook at this point. Okay, so in the gradebook, again, you would have your whole class roster listed down. Okay, and so now we have, this is the assignment we just created, the plays game with peer and adult first attempt. Okay, 9 points, and this is the 5, that's the score that the student got. Okay, so from here, I see that there's the little dialogue icon is there, so I can click on it, and this is the overall comment that we had made. And if I wanted to see the actual rubric, well, then I just click in it, and here's the actual rubric. Okay, so now, like I said, if I want to delete it and start over again, I just, let's see if we can do that. I think that's because you're a student, and I'm actually contacting you right now too. Interesting. So it's going to look a little bit different because I'm a teacher. But that's to delete the actual assignment. No, I guess the only way to do it is to just uncheck. So then up here, there should be a button that says submit, where they can submit that file. And then we'd have to clear out. The tricky thing is I have no way to see it because Schoology sees me for that. Clear out the comments. Now we don't have any scores. I'm gonna hit save. Yeah, okay, so that's how you would clear it out. You just have to go in there and they should be able to clear everything out. Okay, so now the grade is cleared. So from here, if we wanted to grade, so we have our students listed down, you just click inside. It pulls up the rubric for that one student. We can rate the student. Okay, and then again, we can add comments in there. I'm going to hit save. So now she has 6 out of 9. And I go to my next student, and then I could collect data. So this is one way to do that. Now, the things that I did want to show y'all. So the grade, the overall grades, whenever you set up your gradebook, one of the requirements is that you hide the overall grade, and then you hide the grading period grade. So you have to hide these two. That's required. Now, knowing that, the kids still can see this right here, right? So if you are using, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this one. Since the student got a 6, this is the score, and this is where it gets dangerous because this is data collection, and unless you are using this as an evaluation, and you might, I mean, there might be times when you do use it as an evaluation, just know that it does calculate in the average for the student. Okay, now, if you were to sync it, if this grade is not set to sync, remember earlier we had, when we were creating the assignment, I'm going to go into, I had turned the sync to sys off, so it won't sync. So it broke that sync to TAC. Okay, so just kind of be aware of how this works back and forth. And if you did want to, I guess if you were interested in it syncing, well then, yeah, just make sure whenever you set it up that you are setting it to sync, and then the assignment does get created in your tag, and then the grade does sync over. Okay. And okay, so that's how you use rubrics and for evaluation. And I'm gonna go back and show you other ways that you can use rubrics, and then I'm also going to create some more videos of how you can use the really neat assessment features with Schoology.